Emily Thompson had never believed in fate. She was too grounded, too practical, too broken. At 31, she carried the silence of loss in her smile and the weight of grief in her heart. It had been 2 years since the accident, the one that tore Josh from her arms forever. 3 years of marriage and then nothing but memories. A late-night drive, a sharp curve, and a phone call that shattered her world. Since then, her life had become a careful routine. White coats, sterile corridors, long shifts, and quiet nights alone. Love. That was buried with Josh. So, when Alex Garner walked into her life, or rather, was rushed into the ER after collapsing during a board meeting, Emily was unprepared. He was every bit the powerful CEO the headlines described. Tall, commanding, impeccably dressed, and guarded behind intense green eyes. When he woke in the hospital bed, surrounded by monitors and soft beeping, his first words were sharp. "Where am I? Who allowed this circus?" Emily had seen his type before. High-powered executives used to control. She didn't flinch. "You're in St. Mary's. You collapse. Likely cardiac-related. I'm Dr. Emily Thompson, and I'll be handling your care." He narrowed his eyes. "I want someone else. I'm not here to be liked, Mr. Garner. I'm here to keep you alive." Their first days were a dance of tension. He pushed. She remained unbothered. He demanded answers. She gave facts. But in the quiet moments, when she checked his vitals or adjusted his medication, Emily saw something flicker behind his cold demeanor. Kind of sadness too familiar. One rainy afternoon, as the storm tapped gently against the windows, Alex sat staring at nothing. Emily, clipboard in hand, almost didn't speak. But his voice broke the silence. "It's not the heart thing that scares me," he said quietly. "It's the empty bed. The silence after the storm." She turned to him. He continued, voice rough with something unspoken. 3 years ago, Germany. Car accident. I lost someone I loved. Rora. My wife." Emily froze. Her pen dropped. The room suddenly felt too small. 3 years ago, she whispered. He nodded. May. It was raining. She was driving too fast. I was in a meeting. I should've. Emily's breath caught. That month. That year. It was the same. Josh's death had happened the same week. The coincidence chilled her. 2 hearts. 2 losses. Same storm. In the days that followed, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that something unseen was at play. She told herself not to feel, not to hope. But Alex was different now, softer. He asked about her day. He noticed when she looked tired. And when she brought him coffee one morning, he smiled. It wasn't much. But for a man like Alex, it was everything. Still, Emily stayed cautious. Her nights were spent with a glass of wine by the fire, staring at Josh's photo on the mantel. She still wore her ring on a chain beneath her scrubs. She wasn't ready, was she? Alex called her after he was discharged. Sometimes for medical advice, sometimes just to talk. He didn't know how to express himself, but he tried. He confessed once in a whisper, "You're the first calm I've felt in years." And then one evening, he showed up at her door with flowers. She opened it in surprise. "Alex, I'm leaving. There's a deal in Europe I can't delay. know when I'll be back." She looked at the flowers. Her heart sank. "So, you came to say goodbye?" He hesitated. I had to see you, but not enough to stay." The argument was short, painful. Emily's voice trembled. "Don't come into my life just to disappear, Alex." He left the flowers on the porch and walked away without another word. Inside, Emily collapsed onto the couch. Her nurse friend Julia came over later. Emily cried. "I wasn't supposed to feel this again," she whispered. At the airport, Alex stood by the large windows, staring at the runway. He held a photo of Aurora. He kissed it once, then tucked it away. His heart was torn, between the past and something painfully new. Something that felt like hope. Days passed. Then, one morning, Emily was at her kitchen table, sipping coffee when she saw the headline. "Garner Holdings faces lawsuit from late CEO's family." The article told everything. Aurora's parents claimed Alex had coerced her into signing over the company shares. They accused him of betrayal, of infidelity. They argued she was distraught that night. That's why she drove so recklessly. Emily's hands trembled. It was a lie. She knew it. But the pain was still fresh. The article went on to say Alex had refused to countersue. He didn't want to fight. "I just want peace," he was quoted. Emily's heart ached. He had carried this alone. She didn't call him. Instead, she put on a coat and went straight to his office. The receptionist tried to stop her, but Emily walked past. Alex looked up, surprised. "You should have told me," she said, eyes shining. "I didn't want to burden you," he replied, standing. "You let me believe you were just running away. But you were being crucified." "I've lived with guilt for years," he said. "I didn't think I deserved to be happy again." Her voice cracked. "Then why did you come to me?" He stepped closer. "Because for the first time I wanted to try. But I was afraid. Opening my heart. It's not something I know how to do anymore." Tears filled her eyes. "Then maybe we're both learning." He reached for her, but she pulled back. "I let you in, Alex. And it hurt. I regret it." She turned and walked toward the elevator. Her heart screamed, but her feet didn't stop. Until she heard him behind her. "Emily, wait." He turned. "I love you," he said. "I didn't think I could feel this again, but I do. You make me feel alive. You brought me back." Her breath caught. "Let me try," he whispered. She took one step forward, then another. And in the elevator, as the doors closed around them, their lips met in a kiss that said everything. It wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The kiss in the elevator wasn't just a kiss. It was an awakening. For both of them. When the doors finally opened, the world outside seemed unchanged. But inside, something monumental had shifted. Emily's heart raced. Not with anxiety, but with something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. And Alex. He looked as if the weight he had carried for so long had begun to loosen its grip. They walked out slowly, still not speaking, but every step they took was filled with silent understanding. Alex gently tugged her hand and led her outside, away from the polished glass walls of the office, down a narrow path she didn't even know existed. At the back of the building was a small, forgotten garden. A few benches, a fountain barely trickling, and a canopy of trees that filtered the sunlight in golden waves. Love stories can end in tragic and incredibly painful ways. But those same hearts can hold a new chance, a fresh start, a new and eternal love.